Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Kelly. I'm noticing a lot of people are kind of like in a funk, and I wanted to show a few things that I do when I'm in a funk to help get me out of a funk and to have fun. So, I'm going to show you this, and this is a piece I did a long time ago. And what I did, and I'm going to similarly do it down here, but what this is pieces. I took a canvas that was I used that I didn't like underneath. And what I did was I took paint, as you can see here, underneath there, all kinds of different paint. And so there's some paint on the bottom. I ripped up strips of jelly plate papers. Sorry, that's my phone. I did whatever. And like I said, these are just strips of paper that I put on here. And I don't know how close I can get in without you seeing me in my, okay. So you see the different, now what I'm going to do, I mean, I've had this hung on my wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cover it. I'm going to take foil around it. Okay. And kind of make a, what would it be called? Like, so it has like an edge around it and then fill it with a little bit of resin. Now, I might do that, or I might just mix resin and brush it on. I haven't quite decided yet. That's why I kind of I've had this hanging on my wall for quite a while. And, it's my sister texting me. So I haven't worked on it as of late because when I mix the resin, I have some things that I want to make with the resin. So I'm planning on doing that soon. So when I do that, I'll mix enough that I can either paint it over or pour it so it has just a, you know, 1/8 of an inch of resin over top of it, and it'll seal all these extra little pieces. So something you can do. You don't need a canvas, but these are flat canvases. I buy them all the time. I like working on them. I also have regular canvases. Depends on my mood. When I'm working on my desk on film or whatever, you know, recording, I tend to use more of the flat ones. However, so something you can do is if you have scrapbook paper, you can make your own scrapbook paper. And what I mean by that is if you can see all the different colors underneath all these, you can just take a piece of printer paper. You can take a piece of mixed media paper, cardstock, whatever you have. Take different colors. Take your purple, take your blue, take your green, take a lighter blue, take a pink, take a fuchsia, whatever you have. And then just basically splat them all over the paper and different, you know, just paint. And like I said, you can see that's just different colors of paint. And those are papers, but you could see all the different colors. This one, there's no rhyme or reason. So once you get your paper or 2 pieces of paper, whatever you choose to use, you paint them, you leave them dry, or you can hit them with the hairdryer or heat gun. Once you get that done, then you can take your canvas or another piece of paper, tear them up, the ones that you painted on after they're dry, and then just glue them randomly all over your canvas. Or better yet, if you don't even want to do that, you can skip that step and just go on, and I'm going to show you on the next one, but you just go on and slap on all kinds of different color paints. You see here I got green and with some red on it and red. I mean, it's just crazy colors. And I just made I didn't make a mushy brown mess, but I made sure that I mixed, you know, all kinds of different colors. So you can just paint your canvas instead of the paper, all the different colors. Once that's dry, then I'm going to show you similar to what I did to this. What I did to this then was I went and I painted it. As you can see, I painted it I used a antique white by Ceramicoat. You can use white. If you have white, but you want it to be a little bit more like this color, you can add just a tinge of brown or peach or something, you know, to get a similar off-white color. You can use white. You can use whatever color you want. You can do it black if you want, and then do these a different color. I did this with acrylic inks, but you can definitely do this with black acrylic paint. All you have to do is water it down, and then take your paintbrush and then just do the circles. And I did one at a time, and I did the circle, and then I kind of let it run this way, and I held it this way, and it ran, you know, like this way, and then hit it with the gun or leave it dry, and then go on to your next one. And you can see in this one, I'll show you each circle in a sense. So again, you don't have to do the pattern paper like I did underneath. You can just do colors. And you can see. And then you just play with your paintbrush and make it very watery, like the paint would end up being a little inky. And you get something like this. And it's a lot of fun. I love it on the wall. Like I said, it needs to be, you know, I need to, because I did use papers, I need to seal it. And the resin will do good. Excuse my throat. The resin will do good because it'll fill in all the gaps and kind of make it more even. So that's going on. That's what I'm going to do with that. Now, here we have the canvas that I did the other day. And so, as we know, I put paper down all over. I have some stencils that I used and all kinds of things. Now, for me, this is not exactly as colorful as I want it. I want more color in it. I'm not going to worry whether the colors stay in, like I can see, you know, when I'm looking at this. So let's just say, because I only have a few sheets of paper on here, so it's not going to make a difference. Let's just say that, you know, this area right here is way too red. Okay. Now, what other colors do I want to put in there? Now, do you want to use a stencil or do you want to use just paint? It's up to you. We're going to do both. So I'm going to lay just a stencil down. I got this from Angie's Antics as a random act of kindness, and I thank her so very much. But I'm going to lay it like this, and then I'm going to decide what color I want to use. Now, if you already have a canvas sitting around that you already started, like I said, I love some of these, you know, I'm going to keep some of this. But over here, it's very concentrated. So what color am I going to use? Now, I can use, let's see. I want something that's really going to pop in a sense. I don't know if I want metallic. How about some yellow? Let me pull out a yellow. I don't want to use enamel. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm just picking out Folk Art, and it's Artist Pigment Yellow Light. And when you're there, the Artist Pigment doesn't have as much color. I mean, as much liquid in it as if you would just get a regular acrylic paint where you shake it, you can hear it. This one is more concentrated of color. And it doesn't matter. It's just what I grabbed. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit over here. Can you see how thick that is? It's kind of thick. But it's okay for me. And I'm using acrylic paint rather than sprays because when I put this color down, whatever, we know that I sprayed a lot on here, and that spray is going to come through whatever I put on really because it's going to reactivate because it's dilutions or whatever I used. And it's not a permanent spray. It's a water-soluble spray. I'm not really too concerned about it. I'm going to find my stencil brush. You can use whatever kind of brush you have. Even better if you have the fantastic $28 cosmetic sponges. Let's use that, shall we? I know a lot. I mean, you can get it. I got 28 wedges here for $1. These are great. I use them all the time. I have them sitting around here all the time. So let's just use that. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm working on my craft sheet, but you could have a piece of parchment paper or wax paper or whatever you want underneath here. Brown paper, brown paper bag. And I'm just going to get some yellow on there. And I don't know exactly what we're going to get. It might turn a light orange. I don't know. But it's going to give it some... Yeah, it looks like it's lifting up orange, can you see? It'll give it a little bit more brightness. Now, if I really wanted to be technical, I could have gessoed where I wanted them. I should have turned my Facebook off because I'm getting all the kind of notifications. I could have gessoed it and then went over it, which is completely fine too. That's just another step I just didn't feel like doing. So I'm going to leave it like that on those. And then I'm going to come over here and do some circles. And we've all stenciled. If you don't have stencils, you can cut one out of paper or cardstock. Cardstock. As simple as a heart. As simple as any shape you want. Honestly, it could be whatever you want. You don't have to have, it's just, we're just bringing in some color because you're not going to see what you have under here. Remember that. Because of the next step I'm going to do. And I think this is a lot of fun. So you can just start your canvas or your piece of paper like this with whatever you have. Whether you have stencils or stamps. I'll see if I have any stamps sticking out. I don't want to waste too much of your time. So I'm going to lift it up. And you can see the variation of the color. I'm going to turn it over. Let's see. Maybe I'll just turn it here. I'm going to set my yellow down. I'm going to take my paper towel and just kind of dab it on. So whatever yellow is on there will transfer. And just so it's a little bit over here. And not much came off. But it did lift some of the color. How funny. So I'm just going to set this here and wipe it. It's already drying. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. I always do a big sink full of my stencils when they get too bad. And just leave them soak for a minute. And then the paint comes off. So not going to worry. What I am going to do though is take some more of my yellow on my... And we want it to kind of, since it didn't go over here, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of yellow here. It's going to bring up some of that orange. And I'm going to do a little bit over here. Even though I don't want to necessarily screw up that whole thing, but I want some yellow mixed everywhere. So if it comes through when we do what we do, it's kind of everywhere. Kind of everywhere. Okay, I think that's about as much yellow as we're getting. Let me just spray my paint for a minute because I never like to just waste that. So I'm just going to wet it a little bit. See how it kind of reactivates it a little bit. It'll be a little bit watery, but when it dries, I'm going to go over this green because I like that. And I'm just going to kind of Alright, I'm going to shut my Facebook off in 1 minute. And I'm just going to kind of dab everywhere. So we have some yellow. If we decide to use that yellow, that area. And look, that's the color underneath coming up. But I did use all my yellow, so I can just clean that up. Kind of put some color over here. Okay, now, set that there. I'm going to just give this a quick wipe to get that yellow off. I'm going to shut my Facebook off. There we go. Just so we all don't have to hear the beeps. Okay, so of course, you know, then you can just take this and we're just going to cut a little bit of that off. So we have, and you can cut it more even. I use my little scissors. You can use whatever scissors you have. It doesn't matter. And then you just throw it away. And we can do our whole painting basically with this. Now, I'm going to take my heat gun. Now remember, you've already done colors on here. So all the colors I have on here, you've already basically picked your colors and they're doing it. I'm just adding on top of so I can kind of show you what I'm going to do. And I'm sorry if you hear things scooching around and all that because I'm cleaning in here. And I have things kind of moved and trying to organize. And we all know how well I do with that. But I was reading comments from Tiff and other people. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to show a few things I do. Not as in-depth as I usually do, however, enough that you kind of get it and understand, and then you can do yourself. This is just called Violet Pearl. It's ceramic coat. I love these artists or craft paints or whatever the heck they're called. I love when they go on sale. I love going and buying, you know, they're so inexpensive and, you know, so I'm just taking it on my same brush. Now, do I want to use, maybe I want to use some bubble wrap. So I'm just going to lay this here and kind of pounce on my bubble wrap. As if it's a stamp. Let's see how good this comes up. I'm going to stay in this area. Get all that paint up. And let's see what we got. Let's do up here. Might need a darker paint for this. We'll see. We're just pushing it down, lifting it up. Yeah, it's not... I need a darker color for that, but we will come back to that. Let's use some... See, I think that purple might not even be dark enough. I mean, might, yeah, not be like... I mean, it will if I put a little bit in here. But I don't want to ruin that kind of... Like I said, it's all fun. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just you're just sitting playing, having fun. And you'll see what we do when I'm done. Having fun. All right, yeah, we're probably going to need a darker purple than that for our bubble wrap. So I'm pulling out the old Prism Violet from Basics. And I'm going to pop a little ploopy down there. Now, you can use permanent ink pads. I couldn't think of the name. Permanent ink pads, which I'll do one. I mean, or not. You might like the look of what, you know, we do after this. So I'm just going to stick one like this. Put that down and go back to where I wanted the purple dots at first. Push down. And let's see what we get. Alright. You can see them. But I got a lot of dark going on here, so I'm going to push it here. But I need to lighten that up over there, so I have to think for a minute. Alright, that showed up on there. See that? And then, let me do... Oh gosh, it's so windy here in our thing at the front door fell. We have like a, he has to reattach it this spring. Hush, hush, hush. And it's so windy here, so everything's falling. Hush. All right, I'm recording, by the way. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just kind of go in here a little bit. I got to figure out, what am I going to put up there that's going to be lighter? Well, I'm thinking, let me cut my purple off. I got some purple in there. That's all right. I'm going to just cut this off. You can be much neater than I and make sure it's perfecto. I wonder if gold would show up. I just want a little bit of blue over here. And I think what I'm going to do is just take some fluid acrylic. It's golden fluid acrylic. It's called cobalt blue, but any blue that you have is going to work. I'm just going to do some drops. And just kind of touch. But any blue, like I said, will work. I just want some blue over here too. Then I'll just touch this to clean it off. Because that's one thing about the golden fluid acrylics. They're wonderful, but they dry like you waste so much because they dry funky on the, let's mix this, on the lid. Like you can really peel a lot off. And it really pees me off. And I'm just going to put a little bit of blue over here. A little bit here. And do I want flames? I can just kind of lay this like this and kind of dab in. And push that blue around underneath, but just give a little bit of, I know it's under my stencil, I don't care. I just want that blue. Yeah, that would be good. And then I'm going to lay it here and just push off what I just put on. So we get a little bit over here. And then I'm going to be done boring you with me adding extra colors because, like I said, I can go on and continue adding colors. That's the fun. Because the more messy this background is, the more fun it's going to be. As you'll see in a moment. Let me just get these cleaned up a bit to get all that extra off. And then I'm just going to go in, like I said, and kind of add this color in between things. Not worrying too much. Not covering up too much. But just because you'll see in a moment. And then you can see where it's kind of turning purple a little bit because it's mixing with the red. And you can see, I'll show you in a minute. So I just want to bring some of this over here. We have our blue over there. I'm just going to run this along this side. Color that in. Alright, and see, now we can cut again and we can still use our sponge. No big deal. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to blow this jar very quickly so we can go on to our next step. And because this is acrylic paint, it works. It dries very quick and is really awesome. As any acrylic paints will do. So like I said, you don't have to use papers. You don't have to use anything but a plain piece of paper and paint, or a old canvas that you have that you want to redo, or a piece of paper in the book that you're using in your art journal, or in your some people are using like books you know, like world atlases or books they got, you know, at the bookstore or whatever, or your journal or whatever. This just happens to be that canvas I worked on the other day, and I thought this would be fun to show you. Because I could sit here all day. I have many things I do. So, okay, so here we are. So, I'm going to, let's just hope this is dry. I'm going to give it a second to dry, or cool off, rather. And then here comes the fun part. If I could just move that. Okay, so I'm going to use the antique white. You can use whatever color you want. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm just going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to wet it. I'm just using the paintbrush. I'm going to wet it. I'm going to just, I was going to say, where's my paper towel? I'm just going to dab it on my paper towel. I'm not drying it. I'm just so it doesn't drip. I'm going to take my white paint. I know I'm just going to kind of do this first. And it's just a random, I was going to say random act of kindness. Because I have that on my head because I have, okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, and my brush is a little bit wet. You want it to be a little bit damp. Do you know what I mean? From dipping in your water. But it doesn't have to be soaking wet. It's just so it makes the paint go a little further. Now, I squirted my paint out for a reason. Where you could do section by section depending on how you want to do it. Now, I'm just going to go in. And I'm going to paint around certain things. Now, you know your colors are going to come up if you used a spray. But, I know this makes no sense to you, but just give me a memento. Let's say we do, you know what, let's do this. I'll give you some big shapes to do, and then you guys can be more creative if you choose, or not. You could do a heart too. Not that this isn't creative, but. Alright, so I have my heart. Let's just. And then maybe you want, I don't know, you just kind of want to leave like certain parts out. Like I really love that, and I don't care that the color is coming through. Like I really like this part of the flower and this part of the flower, so I kind of want to keep that. And I like this flame right here, which I'll have to show up at the camera because I don't know how well you can see that. I love this area, so I'm going to attach it. Now, let's say, all right, let me just kind of do this before this dries and then kind of show you. All right, I love this. With that coming out, I love this flower. Now I don't want to ruin too much of that. And this is just a beginning. It's nothing. I'm going to cover up that. I will leave one heart. I'm going to go into this. Because we'll make it all uniform in a memento. So do you see kind of what we're doing here? We're making a pattern. And the fun thing is the colors come up really awesome. Now, let's pretend that I don't like this heart. And something to keep in mind when you're doing this is you can see where the paper I did was. And it's okay, but it's going to lift a little. So if you're playing for the first time, don't, you know, if you do put paper down, don't think like, oh my God, I did something wrong. So I'm going to wet my brush a lot and run my brush in this heart. And I'm going to show you why. For something cool. Because maybe I don't like that big blob in the middle. This is where the fun begins for you. Now, you can see I'm just putting water on this. Okay, you're going to see the colors coming up. Now, let's just say, I'm not digging on that heart that much. I like the colors coming through right here of what I have underneath, but I'm not digging over here. So you just take your paper towel and just watch how cool this gets. I know, this seems so silly to some. But wait till you see the other thing I do after this. I don't even know if I should do it in this video. Maybe I'll do it in another video. If you guys even want to see more. But see how, now, you can go with your paintbrush or a spray bottle, whatever you have. Rinse it off. Get it wet, you know, fairly wet. And take it over some of the paint you did already. Alright, so you can lift it up. And get this great texture. And when you lift it up, you can see the colors coming up. Now over here, let's say right here and right here, and I'm going to spray here. When you spray water on them, look how they change. So if I go in and spray water on this now, can you see the colors coming up through? Let me see if I can do it. Lift it up for you. Especially this side. Look at the colors. That's the colors from the bottom coming up. Now leave it run. Now you should probably have some sort of paper towel or napkin on the bottom. And I wish I could just show, oh God. Okay, it's Kelly making a mess. All right, I'm just going to make a mess and just say screw it. Okay. Look at the color. Oh, you don't need to see my face. Look at the colors running. Just spray a little bit more. And like I said, the heart, we can wipe the heart up more. Now, here's what we do next. So you have all this greatness. Now, let's turn it the opposite way. And spray. So I know we have some beautiful blues and greens up here. And leave it run. I'm not even looking at it right now. Because I know I gotta make it, it's gonna be a mess. Okay. So make sure you're doing this on something that you can clean up, that you're not making. Like I'm using my craft mat. Make sure you're using something. So, oh gosh. I'm in my, it rings. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Enjoyable. For all who see. Okay, so you see where we're at now? So we have, what the hell did I hit the button? I hit the button too fast. So we have some stuff going on. And again, take your paper towel. If you're not liking, if it's too opaque and you want it to be more transparent, because you want those layers to come up. I know this seems like a lot of, it's not wasteful, it's fun. Because you control what you're doing. And you're just getting, and your paper towel leaves texture too. Remember that. And the acrylic paint that we used, as you can see, does not move. Which that's the fun part. So, let's pretend. Okay, like this heart, for instance. Oh, okay, I didn't dab that enough because when I grabbed it, I was like, ew. Like this heart, for instance, I'm going to wipe it out because I'm not digging on it. Now I'm like, ew, I don't like it. And this is for, I'm just showing you. So because we have used water, it hasn't dried permanent yet. So you can kind of wipe it out. Now it's going to get a little bit muddy, a little bit, you know, it can get, as you can see, as my towel. Try to use the best part of your towel. Like I've been using this part, which obviously is soaking wet and dirty, so then I should probably open it and fold it to a cleaner part. But why would I? Because it's me. All right, so you just kind of give it a nice wipe where you want it, you know what I mean? And it kind of softens the colors. And then we go in for the big bang. And the big bang is, now that we have it softened, it looks completely different. Now, you can go in with your sprays, which I'm going to use a couple sprays. And you know I love this. I used it before, except using it over here, I'm going to use it here. And turn it the other way. Yeah. So I'm going to spray. And you can do around it, so it gives you a circle look too. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to lift this up. And we got some sprayage there. And I'm going to take it over here. Take my paper towel. Push it down. Now, if you don't have sprays, it's okay. Use your acrylic paint. It's the same kind of thing. You would just use your... I'll do one with it and show you. Now, that has nothing... That really doesn't have any texture, but it's cleaning off a lot of the spray. And it's leaving a little bit of it there. So, I'm going to just blow this dry. Because you want to kind of keep it dry in between layers. Otherwise, they all will mix. And I probably should have dried it before I put that on, but it's okay. And I'm just going to dot it so it's a little dry, not going to worry about it. Okay. Because it's just for camera. Alright. Now I just want to show where we're at before we continue on the last bit. And this is just where you're going to play. If you have stencils, great. If you don't have stencils, it doesn't matter. Like I said, use whatever you have. Use your fingers. It doesn't matter. Let's say, okay, so we're going to do this. And let me just pick a couple more dark. Let me just pick. I don't know what happened to this one, but okay. This is a bit of spray. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to just go like that. Not going to worry. It can be your own spray. It doesn't matter. We're just adding some color. I'm going to push it here. Get some color. Push it here. Alright, and then I just take my rag and kind of give it a little wipe of the rest that's on there. If you don't have stencils, just spray. You don't even need to have stencils. But because I do have them, and then I'm going to take, because I did use these here, I'm going to probably do a little spray right here of another color. Now remember, you could take food coloring in an empty spray bottle with water and a little bit of Elmer's glue, just like a few drops of Elmer's glue, and you have yourself a good homemade spray. And that's all I'm going to do there, just to add some color. I'm going to push it here, lift it up, maybe try to get some here. Again, we're not looking for too much. And then again, just kind of wipe off. And dry it. And if you don't have a dryer, use your hair dryer. If you don't have a hair dryer, leave it dry. It only takes like 5 minutes. Oh, I gotta move this thing. It's getting on my nerves. Especially if you make your own with food coloring and water and a little bit of like Elmer's glue, it dries very fast because when you're drying it, it's water. It's a water thing. Now, like I said, now let's do some fun. Let's do a fun thing. Let's take some of our black acrylic paint. I take the lid off. She's dangerous. I'm going to take a smaller brush. I buy kids' brushes that you get real cheap for these things. You know, like you can go in their department and buy them. I stick my brush inside. And then I'm going to go and just make some circles. I'm not going to use my inks for this because I'm not going to use my inks for this I want you to kind of see what I do over here. I wet my brush with the paint on it, and I'm putting it here to make it inky. So if I use my acrylic inks that come in the drip droppers, you know, with the drippies, that wouldn't be fair to you because you might not have them. So this is just black acrylic paint. And I'm just going to go in and just very lightly do some circles. And you could do whatever you want. And you can outline, and if you want it even thinner, wet your brush more, wet your paint more. Doesn't matter. And just go in and do some outlining. And make your circles. Doesn't matter what kind of circles you make. Just make them. Now, what I like to do is when I'm done doing my circles and they're dry, and this is just me, it does not mean that you have to do it, is I will go in then again with my white or my off-white. Now, I really love this, so I want to kind of save that. I'm being quick. I'm not being as careful as I would. Which you really don't have to be careful. This is more for fun. But I mean, I'm just not really paying too much mind to what I'm doing. I'm just kind of outlining things that I really, you know, that are interesting me. Like maybe like a little one right there. And then we'll do one right here. And that'll be good. And then what I would do, then throw your thing in the water, wipe up your black paint. You let that dry. And then go in with a bigger brush. Now, you don't have to do it my style. You don't have to do it the way I do it. I mute things down. I do this. I do that. But what I do is now once these dry, these black circles dry, you can keep it like this. Or you can do like I did on here and go around it with your white or your cream or off-white. Okay? And then you can go back in with a very, very wet black and do your splatters. But you want your cream to be down before you do your splatters, if that makes sense. I like to outline first because for me then I can see what I'm outlining. And then I'll just go in like this. I'll just show you very quickly, not the whole thing because I don't want to take up all your day. But I'll just take my paint and then I'll go in. Because you know it's going to come through some of it. But just go in around your circles. I didn't want my paintbrush either first, so that doesn't help. But, you know, once your black paint's dry, it's good. And if you go over it a little bit, it's okay. Because you're going to go over it one more time when you do your kind of drips. Let me see if I can get an area done so you can kind of see. Nico, lay down. I had some crackers and cream cheese, and he just loved me. He had to be in here with me. Done eating them? He's done with me. My other dog, Spyro, will stay in here. Now, some of my paper came up there when I was drawing it, which no big deal. I just want to kind of show you. And what I love is the colors coming up really adds some really cool looks to this. If I ever get more paint out of here. Okay. Of the stuff underneath. Now think about this. Okay, here we go. We're doing this. I'm doing it fast because I'm going to see if I can show you one more thing. I might as well just go all balls out on the video rather than doing another one. But think about this. Now, here you are. You're doing this. You're doing your color. Nico, it's not food, honey. It's paint. It's paint. And I'm not letting you out of the room right now. I'm busy. You will have to wait a moment. Let's do some blue on here, like on the blue area, so you can see it kind of come through. Now, think how much fun. Here we are. We're going around. Oops, I covered up a little bit with the black. It's okay. It's acrylic paint. You go over it. Stick it in there a little bit more. I'm going to go around this one. Okay, so you kind of get the idea, right? Right. And like I said, use your imagination. Maybe you have a better, you know, maybe as you're doing it, you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, right? So here I go. I'm doing my gig. I'm doing my thing. You see how, you know, it looks, you know, we're getting there, right? This is why I have OCD on things that don't get finished when I'm on camera. But okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. As soon as I get this paint off this brush. Okay. All right. Okay. It drives me nuts when I don't get things done. But it's okay because, okay, I want to show you guys. This is to help people. All right. And then, of course, you'd let it dry or blow it dry or whatever. I'm going to throw wet rag away. Okay. So I'm going to lift it up. And I'm going to let you see. And you can see the colors coming through. And you see what you did? Now, that's just with paint. Now, you can. I'm going to give you a few tips on this. See? And then what you would do is you would go back with, I don't think I have my, I'm not going to open up more paint. But you would go back, this is my oil, my favorite oil thing, but you would go back and say with your, you know, your black ink, your black paint, and you'd go over that again, you know, and you do your own little fancy things. You can then doodle in between it once the paint's dry. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But can you see how awesome it looks once you get that? And then the colors lifting up from underneath make it even better. And you get all these great textures. So that is another thing that I think is really cool to do. And you make, you know, it's abstract in a sense, and you have fun because you're just throwing paint down. You're not thinking of much. You can also, before you go on with the white paint or whatever color you choose to do, you can do a black background and then do this with white paint. You know, the circles. You can do your whole background and paint it and then stamp on it and then do this. So think about what you can do. There's so many things you can do. You know, it's just fun, and it's, you know, it's yours. You'll make it your own way, original, and you use all kinds of great colors. And if you don't want to paint and you have tons of scrapbook paper, it's another way. Tear them up, glue them all on, throw a coat of Mod Podge or whatever over it, leave it dry, and then go to town with the paint and the circles and pick out like your favorite, you know, parts. So that is a great thing. And like I said, this one I painted, it's fully painted. And then I went around, after it was fully painted, I went around it again. And you can see like in this middle one where like some of the paint of me painting white, I didn't go over it. I didn't care. I liked the way it looked. And you just kind of go over it with very wet paint, and you just do one at a time and let it drip all over. And you have a really cool look. So Tiff and everybody who's having kind of like, you know, a little bit of like, what do I do kind of thing, this is what you'll do. And I will finish this and post it. But like I said, again, what was I saying? Again. I want to show this too. Again, you can do that on paper. You can do it on watercolor paper, mixed media paper, printer paper, canvas, poster board, foam core. I have more poster board and foam core I know what to do with because the dollar store, and when they have sales, I buy them. And then I just cut up pieces of the paper, foam core or paper board, and use them as like that. You know what I mean? To sit and play and do things and hang on my wall and do giveaways and stuff. Now, this is a book I got, and this is a drawing that Annie did for me that she said reminded me of her. I mean, her of me. And it came on a package that she sent me, and I couldn't throw it away. So I put it on my Mother Earth book to draw in and keep all my extra amount of like room with poetry and that kind of stuff, so I need another book. So I decided that I am going to do this front page up, the cover. And so what I wanted to do first was I put my Mother Earth sticker, and then she did that. And then the word Shakespeare comes through, which I'm like so thrilled with because I love Shakespeare. And then is the burned tulle, T-U-L-E, that I did all that time ago. And I glued it on really good. And I threw a coat of clear coat on it so it stays. And now I put a little glitter around it just for a little jazziness. And then I don't know what, I'm going to do something around this though. But it's going to be light enough that these things kind of pop out. So I wanted to show this. Something else I'm going to show very quickly. Oh my God, this dog is going to give me agita today. Let me just try to get this page out. Hands are not working that great today. Alright, so I'm going to use brown paper today to show you this. And this is something else that I do, that I love to do, that requires really, if you have markers, crayons, paints, no matter what you have, you can do this. I just take any kind of pencil you have, or marker that you like, or paintbrush, whatever you have. And I take a piece of paper. Sorry if it was going out of focus. I take a piece of paper. This is my favorite thing to do. And I sit and I draw like this. In no order at all. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I just draw, right? But you make it one continuous line, which I'm not doing very good there. But anyway, you kind of get the idea. I'll bring that down, and then bring that up, and then bring that down. So you fill up the whole page how you want it. And this is what I do. Now, if I look at this and I say, oh, that's kind of big, I'll go back in. Well, that kind of looks kind of vulgar. And I'll maybe add some extra little boopies in it. Okay? Okay. And then you can remember the outsides too. All right. And then you have this. Now I can put that there. So you have this. Now you grab your colored pencils, I have nothing here. I was not prepared. I was misprepared. Everything's kind of like under everything because I'm moving everything. However, let's continue on. So you have this drawn out, whatever way you choose to do it. And you take out your crayons or your markers or your whatever you have. And I go in and I say, okay, I'm going to do this one yellow. Like I said, this is fun just with crayons. I mean, to sit out on the couch or in the bed if you're not feeling good. But this gets me going to get my creative juices going too, as well as the last couple things I showed you. So I'll color in a few areas, let's just say of yellow. You know, I'll color them in nicer. And I'll just sit here mindlessly and color with whatever I'm coloring with. And then it all gets colored up. And you have this really awesome, I guess it's abstract, I don't even know. I've been doing this with the kids since I can't even remember. But you have this really great, you know, like I always say, okay, I'll do 4 areas of the same color. So I'll do like 4 areas of yellow. Then I'll go to my next color, whatever I'm using. And then, you know, you just keep adding color and you got this beautiful piece. It looks like, you know, like almost like a stained glass kind of thing. And you don't have to think, and it gets your mind moving and going. And I'll probably end up coloring this in. But I think it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's very simple, very easy. You can just sit on the couch with your book or whatever you're using and your box of crayons or markers or colored pencils or watercolor pencils, or sit at the desk with paint, whatever you want to do. And it's a lot of fun. So these are some ways that things that I use to combat my uninspiring thought process. I guess I don't know how to say it. when I am like uninspired with all my stuff here, and I'm like itching to get to the craft store, and you'll know I have a hard time getting out the house. So, I don't go to the craft store like I used to. So I don't buy things like I used to that are like I can go in there and they're inspiring me. Do you know what I mean? Where I see things. So, I'm just fix those. So, these are things that I do. I sit here and I use what I have and I just have fun. And like I said, you can have fun too just by, you know, doing your stuff. Like I said, as simple as just coloring all these in. Like I said, pick the number, 3, 4, whatever. I'm going to do 4 colors of yellow. I'm going to do 4 colors of this color. And then like every color you pick, you have to do it. Or do 3. And it's really fun. So I hope these helped you guys. If you guys choose to do any of these, let me know. Tag me, put them in the group All Things Creative or on the Flickr. I haven't been on the Flickr in a while. I need to get on there. But you can come join All Things Creative on Facebook. All you have to do is search it in the search bar on Facebook, but I'll put it down below. And you can definitely come in there with us. We have so many people from YouTube on there. It's awesome. It's always rocking and rolling, people sharing their art, questions, all kinds of things. So I'd love, and posting their art. So I'd love to see if you do this or any of the ones that I've shown you. And let me know below if they helped you. Because I know they helped me, but, you know, that's me. I don't know if it'll help you. But it does get your brain going and looking at things in a completely different light. So I hope this helped. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you like this video, do me a favor, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe. And I am getting a giveaway together. I promise. That's my next thing. I'm moving some things around here, like organizing better. So because I just have stuff everywhere. So, and I'll show pictures of this and my other one when I'm done on in the group and in a future video to show you how I did them. So I hope you all have a great day. Please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. And as always, I love you all. Thank you so much for just being here and being my friends and my subbies and all that good stuff. I am so blessed. And as always, if there's anything I can show or do or whatever, let me know. I think I'm going to do a resin demo soon to show Laura Kate how I use my clear resin and things like that, and see exactly what she's trying to do. So maybe I can show her, like if she's trying to do jewelry or or molds or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of talking to myself. It's been one of them days. I'm so miserable. But yeah, you guys rock. So I shall see you later. And I have a painted blue thumb with no fingernails. Okay, guys. Love you. Bye.